Ravenmere, built where two rivers meet 3 generations ago. The rivers had all... Too cold. Way too cold. She had 2 hours to explain to the village elder that Ravenmere had approximately 1 night before the Undead army arrived from the north.
Undead army, North Forest, moving tonight. Approximately 300 to 500. They follow water...
Hey, how do you know this?
The soil at the north bank, dead cold in a pattern. They walk through there already, scouts or forward elements.
Team 1, river barrier logs, north branch, 20 paces above the fork. Team 2, pine tar barrels, both river banks.
The barrier goes here. At this width, the current is consistent, and the burning surface will spread evenly. Trust the measurement. Always trust the measurement.
These need to be at the water's edge, not on the bank. At the edge. When we roll them in, the tar needs to hit the current immediately, not pool on the bank.
6 vials. 2 rivers. The north branch and the main branch. Enough. 40 minutes. The burning river trap. Never before attempted. She had hoped she would never need to build it. They're early.
I need the front rank's pace. How many seconds per 20 feet?
10, 9, 8.
3 minutes to the north bank. Begin the tar release. Now!
Rate is correct. We have 90 seconds before ignition point.
6 seconds. The pine tar accumulation was still building. The barrier had to hold long enough for the surface to be thick enough to sustain fire.
Light it.
The North River Zag! Burning! The burning river stopped the advance. Fire and water together, the Undead army encountered a barrier they had never encountered.
North branch is holding. How is the south approach?
It is secure.
Second ignition in 4 minutes. Let the tar accumulate to the full mark. We need the refuel barrels in 8.
The Undead army did not feel fear of the fire, but the ones at the front could not cross burning water on their own, and the fire disrupted the connection.
Contact with the burning river dissolved them. Not burned in the traditional sense, the fire disrupted the cold at energy.
We need the second ignition earlier than planned. The south approach. Is the accumulation at mark?
Confirmed. Both rivers. The trap. 2 burning rivers converging at the confluence below the village. The Undead army, channeled between them.
She had designed the trap with this compression in mind. A wide army becomes narrow when 2 walls of fire converge on it.
60 wide instead of 300, a compression ratio of 5 to 1. In river combat terms, the trap was performing at design specification.
Refuel team, north branch, now! Second barrel sequence, upstream of the barrier. Roll them in!
The refuel worked exactly as designed. The current carried the fresh tar to the burning position. The burning position
20 minutes. The trap was working. But working was not the same as complete. 300.
Intelligent. Not intelligent as ancient dead things that have done this before are intelligent. They're trying the bank flanks. Get 10 warriors to each bank edge, above the fire positions.
She had prepared for the flank attempt. The fire poles were designed for exactly this, not to fight the undead directly.
How long can you hold this without reinforcement?
10 minutes. Maybe 15 if they don't increase pressure.
I need 20. Hold 20.
The fire oil vials. 6 carried.
This buy you another 10 minutes on approach. The Growler won't last as long as
30 minutes.
The dissolution rate increased at the confluent position. The compression was working.
Not yet. Wait for my signal.
When the front rank is 40 yards from the confluence, ignite! Now! Pow!
3 walls of fire. The left river, the right river, and the confluence ahead.
The dissolution rate at peak compression, estimated 20 to 25 per minute. The entire remaining column, approximately...
North barrier fuel, 4 minutes. The confluence will sustain another 8. The south branch, 6 minutes. If the dissolution rate holds at 20... The final refuel. All 3 positions. At once!
The trap renewed. The fires at full height. The confluence at maximum intensity.
10, 8, 5. Gone. 111 undead. Dissolve the never...
The battle was over. The burning rivers had done what the village walls could not have done. She had not drawn her axes once. The 2 short-handled iron axes at her hips, untouched.
South branch refuel timing, 2 minutes early. The confluence accumulation was deeper than the model predicted. Next time...
300.
311. My initial estimate was slightly low.
You burned the rivers.
Yes. That was our entire winter pine tar supply.
Yes.
She documented everything. Not for the record. Not for recognition. Because the next time this trap was needed. Dawn at Ravenmere. The rivers clear. She had designed the burning river trap 3 years ago on paper. She had hoped she would never need to build it. The families want to know your name. To thank you.
They know my name. I've been here 3 days.
They want to say it, for what happened. Version 1. She had already written the version 2 improvements on the second hide sheet. 3 changes. The south branch... She had one more thing to do before she left Ravenmere. The final assessment.
The logs are reusable. The char is surface only. Scrape it and the wood is sound for another build. The iron anchors are clean.
Now, let's understand exactly how the burning river trap worked, and why Valdis Ashvane designed it the way she did.
The undead follow watercourses. This is documented in every account of undead army movement from the eastern settlements to the west.
Step 1. Fuel on current. Pine tar, the natural resin of pine trees, does not dissolve in water.
Step 2. The barrier. The barrier does 2 things simultaneously. It slows the current enough for the tar to accumulate.
Step 3. A 3-sided box. 2 rivers burning creates 2 walls.
Step 4. The dissolution. The undead are animated by...
The most important decision was the confluence ignition timing. Too early, the column hadn't compressed enough. I waited until the front rank was full.
The burning river trap drew on real documented Norse practices. Pine tar was produced and stored by every...
She built the burning river trap in 4 hours from the village's winter fuel supply. She destroyed an... She stayed 3 more days. Trained the village's 2 best construction workers in the barrier build sequence. She had been hired by the regional council to assess 7 river settlements for undead army approach vulnerability. Ravenmere was the 3rd. She assessed every river she walked beside. Not when she arrived at a village.
Oakmere. Population 140. River width at the settlement point 60 feet. Current speed approximately...
At Oakmere, she found no cold soil at the riverbanks. The undead army had not reached this far. She was better at the briefing than she had been at Ravenmere. 3 days ago, she had done it for the first time under pressure.
Accumulation time 60% longer than Ravenmere. The faster current thins the layer before it reaches the barrier. We need the release point moved 30 feet further
Tonight.
We're ready.
Yes, we are. Two activations.
While Valdis was at the third settlement, the regional council had convened.
They had received both operational records. The chief engineer of the regional council had designed river defensive systems for 20 years. He had never seen the burning river trap I have 2 more assessments to complete.
The council requests your presence as soon as possible.
Tell the council I'll be there in 6 days. 3 tributaries. Each one a potential undead approach route. The main river below version 3. She designed it in 40 minutes at the Thornmere River bank. 3 tributary ignition points. A staggered burn sequence.
5 days of construction, the most complex build of the 3. The staggered ignition sequence required precise timing across 3 separate tributary ignition points.
The Thornmere activation. 3 tributary fires. 1 central barrier. The fire height at the central barrier.
The messenger on horseback. Valdis on foot at the same pace. She did not ride. Fenwick. The slow river. Wider than Ravenmere, slower than Oakmere. The tar would accumulate faster.
The 4th build. She trained the Fenwick construction team faster than any of the 3 previous villages. She knew exactly where the questions came.
200 undead. 16 feet of fire. 1 hour and 12 minutes to complete dissolution.
She had 4 operational records in the satchel. Denon. She spoke for 2 hours. Every detail of every activation. Every design adjustment and why it was made.
Regarding the structural integrity report, Valdis, can we expedite the review process by Tuesday?
We can, but we'll need authorization from the board first thing Monday morning.
Yet, the burning river network. Not one trap, a coordinated system of traps across every river settlement in the region.
She was watching for the question she had not been able to answer. She had found 3 design questions and
I'll need a full current speed survey. The timing offsets depend on accurate current data. Can I have 3 surveyors?
You can have 5.
3 is enough.
8 days. Every river junction between 7 settlements measured for current speed, width, depth, and bar access. The burning river network. Complete. 14 settlements.
Look, it's still running.
Yes, that was the first time it ever worked. It changed everything.
6 weeks of construction across 7 settlements. She visited each one twice, once during the build and once for the final inspection.
2 inches matters. 2 inches too shallow, and the current moves too much water over the top of the barrier, reducing the
15 seconds off. The current survey had a small error in the Millhaven tributary junction measurement. The offset is now accurate. 7 settlements. 14 barrier positions. The burning river network, from a design written in the margin. She checked the soil at Ravenmere every morning for the first week after the activation. Normal cold after the second day.
The pine tar stores are being rebuilt. The traders brought 2 shipments.
We'll be at full stock before winter. Good. First winter. The barrier systems maintained through the freeze. The tar protected. The logs stored. The iron stakes intact in the riverbed. Spring inspection. 6 of 7 sites perfect. 1 site, 2 displaced barrier logs from winter flooding.
Network timing verified. Maximum offset error 20 seconds. Within specification.
They said her name several times. She had not specifically sought recognition. She had not specifically avoided it either. She had
Have you modeled the effect on fire duration as well as fire height? Duration increases by approximately 30%.
I read the scout reports. The new army is forming at the northern ridge. Estimated 600. They'll move south in
600 undead.
3 coordinated sites.
The network designed for exactly this scale.
6 weeks. The largest preparation of the 4 activations. 3 barrier positions. The main river barrier, 68 feet wide. She went into the water. She had never needed to go. Previous barriers were on.
The signal worked perfectly. 3 sites prepared simultaneously. The timing offset sequence confirmed. 3
burning rivers. Coordinated. The largest activation of the burning river trap system to date.
3 positions. Simultaneous dissolution across the full column at each position. Estimated 50 per minute combined across all.
The silence after 600 was different from the silence after 300 at Ravenmere. Larger. The activation record. Every detail. The timing offsets as actually observed versus calculated. Both were within specification.
Ravenmere. Not the primary site this time. A network node here. Part of the system that defended 3 settlements simultaneously.
He had been the elder of Ravenmere for 11 years. He had defended it from raiders and floods and hard winters.
11 settlements. 4 new entrants. The network expansion would require 4 new survey sections, 14 new Spamp and Seeress. 12 days. More complex river geology on northern sections. The expanded Burning River network. 11 settlements. 22 She traced it once. Every river junction. She was checking her own memory against the map.
Version 5. The complete network operational manual. The complete design, single site through 11 site coordination. She wrote it in 12 days.
The manual. 217 pages. The most complete river defense document ever written in the Norse tradition.
She checked every copy. Both errors she found were numbers. A timing offset copied with a transpo. She said 3 things to every recipient. The timing offset calculation is specific to your current measurements. Do not apply another settlement's offsets.
The Burning River Defense Network. Built from one design. Tested 4 times individually.
She was 39. She had been a fire engineer and river combat specialist for 15 years. She had come here because the scout reports indicated the undead formations in the northern forest were expanding further west than previous years. Not to copy it mechanically. To start from the point the documentation had... The most important thing about the Burning River trap is not the fire. It is the water. Fire on land can be flanked.
The scaling principle. The Burning River trap scales with the river network. A small settlement on a single river requires 1 barrier.
She had now briefed 13 settlements on the Burning River trap construction. The briefing had gotten shorter with each one. The satchel. The same satchel she had carried to Ravenmere. The contents had changed slightly.
The first winter of the full network. 11 settlements. 22 barrier positions. All in winter maintenance.
Version 6. She began it in spring, 18 months after Ravenmere. The improvements she had accumulated since...
She was 39 when she pressed her fingers into wrong-cold soil at Ravenmere. She would be 40 when version 6 was complete.
Someone who knew her well, if such a person existed, might have mentioned it was her birthday.
15 settlements. 30 barrier positions. The network had grown beyond what she had designed for at the original network scale.
Date.
2 simultaneous armies from different directions, north and west, would require independent activation sequences at the north approach sites and west approach.
2 years from Ravenmere. 15 settlements. 30 barrier positions. Version 6 complete and
She had been thinking about a different problem for 3 months. Not undead.
The same beginning. A fresh hide sheet. A problem observed from scout reports. A question about what physical principle could address it.
She was reading the hillside the same way she had read the river at Ravenmere. She had never seen it from above before. The full river network, The V shape of the two rivers at Ravenmere. How? Let us understand exactly how the burning river trap worked, and why it worked where other defenses had failed.
The geometry. Two rivers forming a V shape.
The behavioral driver. The undead follow running water because running water carries thermal and environments downstream.
The chemistry. Pine tar is less dense than water. It floats. Unlike oil, which spreads quickly and thins, pine tar is
the network principle.
One night.
A settlement where Valdis had never been, using version 6 to build a burning river trap from the manual alone. This was the correct result.
One iron stake depth 3 inches too shallow.
I misread the measurement unit.
It happens. Fix it and recheck. The stake depth specification in version 6 is in section 4, item 12. The table on that page gives this is how the right person changes the world they live in. Not all at once. One measurement at a time.
How Vikings stopped an undead army using burning river traps.
The same village.
The same rivers.
Differently defended. Permanently.
3 iron rings. In the braid. Every scene. Every moment. The same rings. Some details are permanent.
The measuring cord. The instrument. Not the weapon. The instrument was always the measuring cord. The weapon was the river.
The manual. 217 pages. Everything she learned from 4 activations. On cold soil. The first signal. She felt it with 2 fingers and she knew. That was the beginning.
First ignition. The burning river. A weapon the undead army had never encountered.
3 sides of fire. 2 rivers and the confluence. The army surrounded by burning water. Nowhere to go.
Her eyes. In the firelight. Watching the dissolution complete. Not afraid.
600 undead. 3 burning rivers. 12 minutes. The network working as designed.
The satchel. Everything she needed. In a small, dark leather bag across her right shoulder. The entire...
The network. 15 settlements. 30 barrier positions. From one night's design to a regional defense system.
The runes on the vambrace. She carved them herself at 24. She has never said what they mean. The people who asked have stopped asking.
The river's clear in the morning. Pine tar burns out.
Bjarne, who had asked what she needed and given it without question. Who had stood at the signal horn position in the dark.
Version 6. Used correctly. By someone who had never met Valdis Ashvane. Age.
The iron heel caps. On the river road. Always moving. Always toward the next river. Always reading the current.
The network at night. 15 settlements. 15 points of light in the dark. Connected by the rivers. Connected by the design.
The stylus. Writing the record. After every activation. So the next person would know. So the next person would start further along.
The pine forest. Ordinary now. After the army came and was dissolved. Forests do not...
The burning confluence. 2 rivers meeting in fire. The most extraordinary thing she had built.
The village. Normal. Safe. This is what the burning river trap was for. This specific morning.
Ordinary. This ordinary morning.
She walked the river roads. All of them. Reading every river she passed. Measuring every current she could reach.
Version 7. A different terrain. The same physics. Gravity instead of current. Beginning.
15 settlements. Connected by rivers. The rivers always connected them. Before the network, the rivers were roads.
The
The first ignition. That was the moment. Everything before it was planning.
The Ravenmere confluence at sunset, where two rivers meet, where a burning river trap had stopped.
A river valley, two rivers meeting, a village at the confluence.
Two fingers. Wrong cold soil. That was the beginning.
The burning confluence. 3 walls of fire. An army destroyed by rivers, by pine tar.
The knowledge. In 15 settlements. Traveling further. Every copy used is a settlement better defended.
The night sky above Ravenmere. After the fires died, the stars visible, the village...
Her eyes. Always the same amber. Always the same focus. 39 years old.
The dissolution. 311 undead. At Ravenmere alone. More at the 4 other activations.
The river's at Ravenmere. Running clear. Normal cold. The barrier position's ready.
Ravenmere, where 2 rivers meet. The burning river trap was built here first. The network was designed...
She checks the soil every morning,